you very much. Hello, I'm Alexander Armstrong, and welcome to a brand new series of Pointless, the quiz show where the lowest scorers are the biggest winners. Now, as it's a new series, we've made some changes, and there will be a few surprises along the way. But first, let's meet today's players. Welcome, Alan and Bob. You are our first pair on the show. How do you two know each other?
And this is my big son, Alan, and I am Alan's little father, Bob.
Very good. Nice to meet you. Best of luck on the show. Our next pair, we have Courtney and Garfield. How do you two know each other?
Courtney and I went to school together.
Secondary school.
Secondary school, yes, and college as well. So we've known each other over 20 years, so yeah.
Very good. Swapping facts and general knowledge all the way, I hope. Best of luck on the show this afternoon. Welcome to Jill and Bex. How do you two know each other?
Well, we're mum and daughter, and I'm the mum.
Insane, Mum.
Yeah, insane, yeah.
Looking forward to discovering quite how insane. Good.
Yeah.
And on to our final pair. We have got Annie and Stephanie. How do you two know each other?
I met Annie when I joined a company and she was my trainer, but I think I've probably taught her a little more than she taught me at that time.
What do you have to say about that, Annie? Is that fair?
We'll see.
Very good. OK, we'll be finding out more about you all throughout the show. But now, before we go any further, it is time to introduce the man with the facts and figures, the man who plans it all, the man who knows it all, Richard.
Hello.
Happy new series.
Happy new series to you as well. As you say, a few changes on this afternoon's show. We've made bits of the show a little bit harder, bits of the show a little bit easier, but all equally pointless. So very, very best of luck to everybody. Very best of luck to everyone at home as well.
Very good. OK, well, we've asked all our questions on Pointless to 100 people before the show. So to stay in the show, our players need to score as few points as possible. And they do that by giving the obscure answers that as few of those 100 people gave as possible. The thing everyone's trying to do, of course, is find a pointless answer that none of our 100 people gave. And each time that happens, we will add £250 to the jackpot. And the good news is that the jackpot has rolled over from the last series. Now, we didn't spend it. At least not all of it. By the end of the show, I'm promising I will pay it all back. But that means today's jackpot does start off at an incredible £9,500. OK, let's play Pointless. Now, in the first round, each of you must give me one answer, and you cannot confer with your partner. Whichever team has the highest score at the end of the round will be eliminated, and you have to be careful, because if you give me a wrong answer, then this will happen. And you will score the maximum of 100 points, which you don't want. OK, guys, the first category is pop music. Now, can you decide in your pairs who's going to go first and who's going to go second? And whoever's going first, please step up to the podium. OK, let's find out what our first question is going to be. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many Beatles top 40 singles as they could. Richard, Beatles top 40 singles.
Yeah, we're looking for any single released by the Beatles that reached the official UK top 40. We're not looking for EPs. We're not looking for anything, any solo stuff by McCartney or Lennon or anyone. Just Beatles top 40 singles. We're also not going to allow songs that were only B-sides and were never released officially as an A-side.
Right, Alan and Bob, we all drew lots before the show, and today you get to go first. What are you going to give me? A Beatles top 40 single? More obscure.
Trying to work out whether I should play safe or go for a tough answer. I'll guess The Long and Winding Road.
The Long and Winding Road. OK, you are hoping to score as few points as possible. Let's see how many of our 100 people said The Long and Winding Road.
Oh, don't believe that.
Well, that's a wrong answer, which means you score the maximum of 100 points. Richard?
Yeah, I think that's tremendously bad luck. Long and Winding Road is a very well-known Beatles track. It was never released as a single in the UK. It was #1 in the US, and it was also a hit for Who Can Forget, Will Young and Gareth Gates in the UK, but the Beatles never had a top 40 single with it. Proof that Gareth Gates is more popular than the Beatles. If that were needed.
There you are. OK, on to our next pair. Garfield. We are looking for obscure Beatles top 40 singles. What's it going to be?
Right, I'm going to go for Back in the USSR.
Back in the USSR. How many people said that? It's good. Very good. Look at that. Good play, Garfield. Only 4 of our 100 people said back in the USSR. That gives you a score of 4. Back in the USSR, Richard.
Yeah, again, weirdly, not a big hit, actually. It's a very famous song, but only reached number 19. Quite a long time after the Beatles split up, it was re-released. It was a top 40 hit.
OK, Bex. Remember, we're looking for Beatles' top 40 singles. What's your specialist area, would you say? What are you good at?
Well, I thought it was music, but Beatles, useless, absolutely.
Really?
I have to rack my brains to even think of one.
Have you thought of one?
I don't.
Are you not bringer?
I know.
I've got a son.
I know.
Right. Bex, tell me, what's it going to be?
It's going to be Yellow Submarine, is that?
Yellow Submarine.
Cool.
Well, Jill approves of that. Yellow
approve of it?
Submarine. I think it is a Beatles song. I think it is. It's good.
What is right?
Look at that, Bex. 51. 51 of our 100 people said Yellow Submarine. Jill and Bex have a score of 51. She did OK. Richard, Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, Yellow Submarine, good answer. Sung by Ringo, of course. It was number 1 in 1966.
Very good. OK, Annie. Annie. It's tough being at the end of the line.
It is. It is. I'll say Day Tripper.
Day Tripper. Very good. But let's see how many of our 100 people said Day Tripper. Oh, it's good. Very good. Look at that. Oh, fantastic. Very good indeed. Wow, well, that gives you a score of 3. Richard, Day Tripper.
Yeah, Day Tripper, another Beatles number 1 in 1965. Good answer.
Splendid. OK, well, we are halfway through the round. Let's take a look at the scores on our leaderboard. Oh, dear. Alan and Bob, 100 points there. You are way out in front. Bob, the pressure's on you. You've got to score a pointless in this next round if you can, and even then, you might still be vulnerable. Annie and Stephanie, on the other hand, with only 3 points, fantastically low. Keep that up and you'll be right through to the next round. OK, we're going to come back up the line, so please can the second players step up to their places at the podium. So, Stephanie, we are looking for Beatles' top 40 singles. What are you going to give me?
I'm going to give you one that I don't think is totally obscure, but the only one I can think of that is an A is Yesterday.
Yesterday. Very good. Well,
Maybe.
you have a lovely low score of 3. The high scorers are Bob and Alan on 100. There is the red line. You just have to get below that red line. It's nice and high. Get below that and you are through to the next round. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Yesterday. It's good. Wow. 22. That takes your score up to a fantastic low 25. You're definitely through to the next round. Richard, Yesterday.
Yeah, Yesterday. Again, it wasn't a number 1 single. Again, it wasn't released also during when the Beatles were together. It was number 8 in 1976.
Thank you very much, Richard. Jill.
Yes.
You are on 51. We are looking for Beatles' top 40 singles.
I'm going to try for Love Me Do.
OK, let's see how many people said that. It's good. Very good indeed. 20 people said Love Me Do. That takes your score up to an impressively low 71. You're through to the next round. Richard, Love Me Do.
Yeah, Love Me Do. It was the Beatles' first ever single. Reached number 17 in 1962. Great answer.
On now to Courtney. Courtney, Garfield did so well with 4 points there. You've got to follow that up. What are you going to give me?
I'm going to go for Strawberry Fields.
Strawberry Fields. OK, you are currently on 4. The high scorers are Bob and Alan on 100. There's your red line. You just have to get below that red line. You are through to the next round. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Strawberry Fields. Well, would you believe it? Would you believe it? That's an incorrect answer. That scores you the maximum of 100 points, which takes your score to 104. Richard.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to be quite strict on it. That's not actually the name of a Beatles single.
OK, well, that's made the round very, very exciting. We now come to Bob, who's been sitting patiently after Alan scored that whopping 100 in the first round. The high score is 104, so you have to score 3 or less, OK? Just to make it easier for you, there's your red line, just all the way. Oh, if I can... Yeah, there's your red line there. There's your...
Limbo,
oh,
yes.
oh, dear. Get below that, and you're through to the next round. Simple. Bob, what are you going to give me?
It's called being between a rock and a hard place here.
Yeah.
My best shot, I doubt if I'll get below 4 points, but we'll give it a go. Twist and shout.
Twist and shout. Is that rock or hard place?
That's just slightly underneath the rock and above the hard place.
Just between the devil and the deep blue sea. Right,
Yes.
OK, very good. OK, twist and shout. Let's see how many people said that. No! Well, that's a wrong answer, which means you score the maximum of 100 points. That's fantastic news for Courtney and Garfield. Terrible news for Bob and Alan. No, Richard, put us out of our misery. Twist and shout, not a tingle?
Not a single as well. I think it's very tough luck to get 200 points.
Is it called Twist and Shout Forever?
Yeah, very bad luck. Twist and Shout is a very well-known Beatles song, but was only ever released on an EP.
So that's the end of round 1, and the losing pair with the highest score, I'm afraid, is Bob and Alan. So, Richard, what answers would have kept them in the game?
Well, all sorts of answers, actually. There were 8 pointless answers, but the first for Courtney, we couldn't give you Strawberry Fields. It's Strawberry Fields Forever. And just in case the other team wanted to say it, we're not allowed to give that to you. Let's go through, there's 8 pointless answers here, 8 Beatles top 40 singles that nobody said, so well done if you've got any of these. Something and Come Together. Surely their greatest ever song, written by
George Harrison.
Written by George Harrison for Pattie Boyd. The Ballad of John and Yoko, that was a number 1. Nobody said it. Hello Goodbye was another number 1. Pointless answer. Real Love, Free as a Bird, Baby It's You. All of those would have got no points. Ain't She Sweet, which had Pete Best on drums, very early one. And who can forget that old hit, Beatles Movie Medley. Sing along, everyone. All of those were pointless answers. Let's have a look at the worst answers you could have given. One of these will be familiar. In third, it was Help. In second, She Loves You. And anybody, the worst answer you could have given?
Hey Jude.
Yellow Submarine. Can you believe that? Yellow Submarine and Eleanor Rigby.
Thanks, Richard. OK, Alan and Bob, I'm afraid you just didn't have that pointless Beatles knowledge you needed to get through. So I'm afraid we have to say goodbye to you now. But everyone gets 2 chances to come through to our pointless final. So we will see you again next time for your final chance. But give them a big hand, everyone. They've been fantastic. Thanks very much. But for the remaining 3 pairs, it's time for round 2. Now, obviously, only 2 pairs make it through to the head-to-head, so one team is going to be disappointed. You just have to make sure it's not you. The category for this round is sport. Sport. OK, right. Can you all decide in your pairs who's going to go first?
You.
And whoever is going first, please step up to the podium. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many odd-numbered sports teams as they could. Odd-numbered sports teams, Richard.
Yeah, we're talking about any team sport where you have an odd number of players on a team. So each team has an odd number of players on the field to play at any one time. Those are the correct answers.
I'm trying to think of any even-numbered sports teams. Now I'm trying to think of any sports teams. Can't think of any. OK, right. Well, as it's a new series and we've changed things a little bit, round 2 is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to give you a choice of 7 possible answers in each pass, OK? I can tell you that at least one of those answers is pointless, but do be careful. There's also at least one incorrect answer amongst the 7. Pick one of those and you'll score the maximum of 100 points. OK, the first set of 7 answers are rugby union, netball, baseball, volleyball, field hockey, handball and football. There are your 7 choices. There's one pointless at least in there and at least one incorrect answer. So be very careful. As always, the most obscure answers will score you the lowest points, but be careful not to pick one of those incorrect answers. So we are looking for odd-numbered sports teams. Garfield, what do you think?
Pressure's on a little bit.
It is a bit.
Yes, the obvious one to me stands out. Okay, I'm gonna go for football.
Was that your obvious one?
Yes. It's the only obvious one I can think of, so...
OK, you are hoping to score as few points as possible. Let's see how many of our 100 people said football. 89. Cool. OK, bad luck, Garfield. A very high score there, but at least it wasn't the full 100. Jill.
Yep.
Is this an area you feel comfortable with?
Well, I was team captain at this sport in my youth.
Very good.
Now, if my memory serves correctly, I'm going to go for netball.
Netball.
Yeah.
You're going to go for netball. Let's see. Oh, it's good. 41. You've scored 41 points. That's less than half of what Garfield scored. Richard, netball.
Yeah, it's another of the bigger answers. 41 points. There are 7 players on a netball team.
At what position did you play, Jill?
A goal attack.
Goal attack.
Yes.
Were you red hot?
Oh, more than red hot. I was sizzling. Get those goals from outside, leaping about. My little mini skirt on. I was cool.
OK, right. Now, remember, there is at least one pointless answer in there. So you've got to find it, but there is also at least one incorrect answer, so tread carefully. Annie, you're shaking your head. Don't do that.
I know.
Oh, don't do that. Look, 89. 89, you see, it's about... You can take a bit of a punt, I think. We are looking for odd-numbered sports teams.
I don't know. I really don't. This is really a punt. I'm going to go for baseball.
Let's see what that gets you. Oh, it's good! Good work, Annie. Look at that. Down it goes. Oh, 17. You've scored 17 with baseball, which in turn is less than half of what Jill scored. Richard.
Very well done, Annie. As you well know, there are 9 players on a baseball team. Yep.
What about these other answers?
Well, field hockey, as you said, that also has an odd number of players. That has 11. It would have scored you 34 points. Rugby union, that has 15 players. That would have got you 14 points. Okay, handball's got 7 players. They have terrible trouble with handball. So that would have been a pointless answer, would have added £250 to the jackpot. Volleyball has got 6 players, so it's an incorrect answer. So you avoided that very well.
Well, now we know. Thanks very much, Richard. OK, we are halfway through the round, so let's take a look at those scores. Garfield and Courtney, that football choice is almost like having an incorrect answer. There's only 11 points less.
Bad error.
Oh, bad error.
Yeah.
Never mind. Annie and Stephanie, well done you, baseball. Lovely, lovely low score there. Keep that up and you'll be skipping through to the next round. OK, well, we're going to come back down the line, so could the second players please take their places at the podium? OK, we're going to put 7 more answers on the board, and here they are. Ice hockey, hurling, basketball, lacrosse, rugby league, cricket, water polo. So we are looking for odd-numbered sports teams. Stephanie. Again, I have to remind you that there is at least one pointless answer in there, and there is also at least one incorrect answer. So try and avoid the latter.
Lacrosse.
OK, we are looking for odd-numbered sports teams. Stephanie's going to give me lacrosse. Well, you're on 17. It's a good low score.
I know.
You don't want to be overtaking the high scorers there on 89. Your target is 71. There's the red line. You want to be below that line. OK, let's put Stephanie out of her misery. Let's see how many of our 100 people said lacrosse.
Please tell me. Please.
Oh, no, no. That is an incorrect answer, which means I'm afraid to say, Stephanie, you score the maximum of 100 points. That takes your score up to 117. Richard, lacrosse.
Yeah, men's lacrosse, there are 10 players, and women's lacrosse, there are 12 players, so you're sort of wrong twice.
Bad luck. OK. Bex.
Yeah.
We are looking for odd-numbered sports teams. What are you going to say? Look at that board.
Well, I'm glad because I was going to go for lacrosse.
Remember, there could be another incorrect answer in there. And there is definitely at least one pointless answer in there. Go on, Bex.
Right, I'm going to go for water polo.
Water polo. Is that a game you know?
Nope.
You've ever played it?
Nope. Royals play polo, don't they? Harry's quite nice.
It's not in the water.
That's not in the water. Not in the water.
My son. This is going to go bad. OK, water polo.
OK, well, it's a sport you clearly love. OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said water polo and whether or not it is a correct answer. Oh, it's good. It's good enough.
Yes, I reckon.
It could be very good. Look at that. Very impressive indeed. Only 5 of our 100 people said water polo, which takes your score up to 46. A fabulous low score. Richard, water polo.
Yeah, 5 points, 7 players, no horses. It's water polo.
OK, Courtney. Your turn. You're going to have to atone for Garfield's safe, but as it turned out, a little bit too safe answer in the first pass.
I'm going to go for ice hockey.
OK, ice hockey, you're going to say. You're currently on 89. If you want to have a chance of getting through to that final, you have to score 27 or less to avoid overtaking 117, which is Annie and Stephanie's high score. So there's your red line. As you can see, it's quite a long way down. Get below that red line and you are through to the next round. OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said ice hockey. Oh! That is an incorrect answer, which gives you the maximum score of 100 points. That's a score of 189. Bad luck, Courtney. Richard, ice hockey.
Yeah, we always say there's at least one wrong answer up there. This time there were 2. Ice hockey has 6 players, I'm afraid. Virtually every other answer would have seen you through.
Oh, well, that's fantastic news for Stephanie and Annie there. Yes. Look at that. What a reprieve you've been handed. Richard, what were the answers Courtney should have given us there?
Well, let's go through all of them. The one other answer that would have seen him knocked out was cricket. It's got 11 players, but would have scored you 40 points. At home, if you're yelling hurling at the telly, then congratulations, that was a pointless answer. Basketball, of course, got 5 players, would have scored you 23 points, and rugby league has 13 players. That would have scored you 13, would also have seen you through.
So at the end of round 2, the losing pair with the highest score is Garfield and Courtney. Oh, bad luck. Garfield, are you now wishing you'd been a bit more adventurous on the first pass?
I could, yeah, well, I won't say what I could do to myself because I'm just absolutely gutted.
Hey, listen, don't do anything to yourself because you will be back next time. Everyone gets 2 shots at the pointless final. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time. But meanwhile, you've been fantastic contestants. Thanks very much. Big hand. But for the remaining 2 pairs, things are going to get even more exciting now as we enter the head-to-head. So well done, Jill and Bex, Annie and Stephanie. You've made it through to the head-to-head. Now, only one pair can make it through to today's final and play for the jackpot, which currently stands at an unbelievable £9,500. OK, you're going to go head-to-head now on up to 5 questions. For each question, each pair needs to give me just one answer, and you are now allowed to confer. All you have to do is come up with an answer that scores less than the other pair to win that question. And the first pair to win 3 will be playing for today's jackpot. OK, let's play Pointless. OK, here's your first question. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many Star Wars films as they could. Richard, tell us about that.
Yeah, we're essentially looking for any of the subtitles of episodes 1 to 6 of the Star Wars saga. Those are the live-action Star Wars films. All popular, but which is the most obscure of those 6?
Which indeed. OK, Jill and Bex, because you played the best so far throughout the game, you get to go first.
You got one?
Go on
Should we
then,
just
Bex.
go for it?
Go on.
We're going to go for Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. Annie and Stephanie.
We've just both said our husbands will kill us.
That your
So-
husbands are killers?
They'll kill
Yeah.
Try that one. We're making it
We'll
up.
do
We're making
Star
it...
Wars, the earlier years. That sounds good, doesn't it?
Star Wars, the... I love that. No, I'll tell you what, if they'd made that, I would have gone to see it. So Jill and Bex, in resplendent gold, are going for Return of the Jedi, which you were quite worried about until you heard about Anne and Stephanie on their beautiful sea blue colour going for Star Wars, the early years. OK, well, let's go with Return of the Jedi first, shall we? Let's see how many people said that. Oh, it's not bad. 57. That gives Jill and Bex a score of 57. Let's see how many of our 100 people went with
Can't wait.
Star Wars, the early years. Bafflingly, that is an incorrect answer. That is 1 point to Jill and Bex. Richard, Star Wars films.
Yeah, Star Wars, the earlier years, was not one of the official Star Wars movies. Let's take a look at all 6 answers and see what the best answer you could have given. If at home you said A New Hope, which of course was the first Star Wars movie to be released, but number 4, the sequence that would have got the best score, 28. Then Revenge of the Sith, 29. Attack of the Clones, 30. Phantom Menace, 36. Then Empire Strikes Back. So Return of the Jedi is sort of the worst answer you possibly could have given, except it wasn't as bad as Star Wars the earlier years.
So that is 1-0 to Jill and Bex. Here's your second question. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many planets of the solar system as they could. Richard, tell us about those.
Yeah, we're simply looking for any of the 8 planets of the solar system. Just to warn you and everyone at home, Pluto doesn't count as it was reclassified in 2006, but any of the other 8 will do.
OK, this time, Annie and Stephanie, it's your turn to go first. What are you going to give us?
No, it's Annie's choice.
Annie, what are you going to say?
So I'm going to get the blame
Yes.
now. Completely. I'm going to say the Earth.
The Earth, planet Earth. I like it. Jill, Bex, what are you going to say?
Well, there's that little saying in there, my very easy method just speeds up naming planets, so I know them all from that.
go for
so
it,
which
babe.
one do you
What?
wanna go
Sorry,
for?
what's that?
My very easy method just speeds up naming planets, and it names all the planets.
We went to a very posh
Oh,
school.
that's very good.
Very posh for that, yeah.
Mnemonic.
Okay, yeah. So what do you want to go for? Neptune, Saturn, what?
You go for it, 'cause you're the clever one on this.
Oh, that's
No,
just
don't leave
brilliant.
that to me.
Go on,
Choose one.
Bex. No, I'm not choosing nothing. I'm gonna just...
Neptune or Saturn?
Go for. What are you going to go for? What are you going to go for?
Quick.
Mercury.
Mercury. You gave us
Yes,
Mercury first.
Mercury.
That's just as well. OK. You're hoping this is the most obscure answer you could possibly have given. We have got planet Earth from Annie and Stephanie. And we have got Mercury from Jill and Bex. OK, let's go with Annie and Stephanie first, as they answered first. They are this azure blue on the right. Let's see how many of our 100 people said planet Earth. 84.
It's my fault.
Well, it was right, at least. Yes. OK, and Patrick Moore over there gave us Mercury. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Mercury.
That would be low.
Oh, it's good. 53. That's good enough. That's another point to Jill and Bex. It's 2-0 now to Jill and Bex. Richard, planets.
Yeah, people tend to remember planet Earth, don't they? It's one of those ones you just were sort of reminded of from time to time. Let's take a look at the... Let's take a look at all 8 of them. Neptune would have been the best score you could have got. Only 47 people said it. Then Mercury, Uranus, Venus. Let's take a look at the top 4 answers. Saturn, Earth was only 3rd, unbelievably. Jupiter was 2nd, and Mars, 96 points. Mars would have got you.
OK, Annie and Stephanie, you have to get this right to stay in the game. Otherwise, it's 3-0, and that is the end of the head-to-head. 3-0 to Jill and Bex. OK, here is your third question. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many members of the famous 5 as they could. Jill and Bex are jumping up and down. Is that... Are you a big Blyton?
Mum. She used to read
I
it to
love
me when I
reading
was younger.
Blind. I used to read all the famous 5 books. And I can't remember any of them because I'm starting to freeze.
OK, Richard. Famous Five.
Yeah, simply looking for the names of any of the 5 characters that make up the Famous Five in Enid Blyton's books. Again, lots of people know all of them, but which is the most obscure of those 5 characters?
OK, very good. This time it is Jill and Bex to go first.
Shall I go?
You should go.
Anne.
We have Anne, Annie and Stephanie.
Yes.
It is over to you. You have to.
We're going to chance our arm and we're going to go Julian.
You're going to go Julian. Let's go with Jill and Bex first. With Anne. Let's see how many of our 100 people said Anne. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's very good. Look at that, 30. Oh, dear, Annie and Stephanie, that's low, isn't it? You've said Julian.
We have said Julian.
This has to be right,
We know.
or you are off the show.
We know. With our tail between our legs.
OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said Julian.
Oh, it's one, it is 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 one.
Oh, yes! What about that? You've done it. You've bought yourself an extra lease of life. Oh, fantastic. Richard.
Yeah, well done. And,
The panting over there.
Julian was actually the very best answer you could have given. He was the most obscure of the Famous Five, closely followed by his brother Dick. Then it was Anne, then Timmy the dog, and the worst answer of all would have been Georgina by rights.
Oh, so there we are. Annie, Stephanie, well done. You pulled it out of the bag there in the nick of time. OK, here is your 4th question. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many counties of Northern Ireland as they could. Richard, counties in the north of Ireland.
Yeah, simply looking for any of the 6 ceremonial counties that make up Northern Ireland. Very best of luck.
Right, Annie and Stephanie, this time it is your turn to go first. We're looking for counties in Northern Ireland.
Shall I do it? OK, we're going to go county for Manor.
County
For Manor?
for Manor. Jill and Bex, Annie and Stephanie have to win this point.
I really don't know.
They have to win this point
Yeah,
to
I
stay
don't
in the
know.
game. You're going to go for?
Cool. I don't know.
Cork. OK, Cork is the answer you've given.
Yeah.
OK, we are going to go for County Fermanagh first from Annie and Stephanie. In blue, let's see how many of our 100 people said County Fermanagh. Annie and Stephanie, you have to win this point to stay in the game.
We know.
It's good.
Right.
It could be very good. Look at that. Oh, wonderful. Look at that. 15. And we're going to go with County Cork. This could be your passport to the final.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. How many of our 100 people said County Cork? County Cork is not a county in Northern Ireland. So that means you are now 2-all. Level pegging. Very, very exciting in this head-to-head. Richard, County Cork.
Yeah, is in the Republic of Ireland. Annie and Stephanie were 2-0 down just now, but they've just given us 2 questions in a row, the best possible answer you could give, because County Fermanagh, we'll see, was the best answer you could give. County Tyrone, the largest county in Northern Ireland, would have got you 16 points. Well done at home if you got that. Then County Down, Londonderry or Derry, and then Antrim and Armagh were the top 2 answers.
OK, thank you very much, Richard. Well, it couldn't be more tense at this stage. So I'm just going to plough on and read out the 5th question. Here we go. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many champagne bottle sizes as they could. Richard, tell us about these.
Yeah, these are the the unusual names given to the standard sizes of champagne bottles. The things we won't accept are quarter bottle, half bottle, and bottle. And by standard sizes, we just mean the champagne bottles you can buy without having to have one specially made. There are 7 of them, and anyone who gets all 7 at home, well done. You're drunk.
OK, this time it is Jill and Bex's turn to go first.
I think we should go for...
Not Magnum, that's too obvious to go.
No, I think we should go for Jeroboam.
Jeroboam. Annie and Stephanie.
Go on then. You say it.
Nebuchadnezzar.
Nebuchadnezzar. Fantastic. We have Jeroboam and we have Nebuchadnezzar. OK. Jill and Bex, you answered first with Jeroboam. Let's see, on the left-hand side, how many of our 100 people said Jeroboam? Well, it's good. 24. Very good, a good low score. Let's see if Nebuchadnezzar beats it. Everything is riding on this. You've got to get lower than 24 to get through to the final and have a crack at that £9,500. OK, let's see how many of our 100 people said Nebuchadnezzar. That scores you 9, which means you win this round 3-2. Richard.
Yeah,
Nebuchadnezzar.
Well, congratulations, coming from 2-0 down to win 3-2. Let's crack open a Nebuchadnezzar or two. There's 20 bottles of champagne in a Nebuchadnezzar. 20, but it's the largest standard bottle of champagne you can get.
Wow.
And it's certainly done you some favours. Jeroboam, there are 4 bottles in it. It was the second top answer, actually. So let's take a look. You could have beaten Nebuchadnezzar, Jill and Bex, with Salmanazar, Rehoboam, Balthazar. There we've got Nebuchadnezzar, then Methuselah, Jeroboam, and Magnum. So again, congratulations at home if you got all 7 of those.
Well, thanks so much, Richard. So the losing pair at the end of the head-to-head, I'm afraid, are Jill and Bex. Oh, you just don't know nearly enough about the size of champagne bottles.
I know.
There's one way to remedy that.
Well, we know too much.
Yeah, no, I don't. It's awful.
You came so close to making it all the way in the head-to-head, and you've wasted one of your chances to reach our pointless final, but you get one more chance. Of course, we will see you again next time, when I hope you do even better. But for now, you've been fantastic contestants. Big hand, please, for Jill and Bex. For Annie and Stephanie, it's now time for our pointless final. Well, congratulations, Annie and Stephanie. You've fought off all the competition and you've won our coveted pointless trophy. And now you've got a chance to win our pointless jackpot. At the end of today's show, the jackpot stands at an impressive £9,500. Terrifying sum of money. The rules are very simple. To win the money, all you have to do is find a pointless answer that no one else could think of. It's something no one has done today, so let's hope you can find one now. First, though, you've got to choose a category from these 3 options, and here are your choices. The Winter Olympics, poets, or British walks? Winter Olympics, poets, or British walks? Which do you want?
What do you know? What do you know about up there?
Well, a bit of each of them, but my weakest one would be British walks, but I think you would be strong on that.
Well, no,
your weakest is Winter Olympics, so if we say poets?
Poets.
Poets. That's nice. We gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many poets laureate as they could. No. Poets laureate.
Oh,
Not the question you were after there?
No.
OK. OK, Richard.
The post of official poet laureate was created in 1668, and there have been 20 people who've held the post since then. So there are 20 poets laureate. You have to name the most obscure one you can think of.
OK, you now have up to 1 minute to come up with 3 answers, and all you need to do to win that £9,500 is to come up with a pointless answer. And your 60 seconds start now.
Wordsworth, Ted Hughes.
Possibly. Betjeman? John Betjeman? I don't know whether he has been. The guy that Terry Wogan keeps on about.
Who was the one who did all the love ones with the... I saw the film with them. I won't say Disraeli, and it's not Disraeli because he was a Prime Minister.
30 seconds gone.
OK, who's the most... Keats?
Andrew Motion.
Andrew Motion, he's the most recent, yeah. Wordsworth?
Wordsworth, if you want, yeah.
10 seconds.
Keats, Betjeman. Betjeman.
5 seconds.
I don't know. I have no idea, look. I have no idea. Can't help you on that one.
And your time's up.
OK.
OK, let's have 3 answers from you.
We're going to go Wordsworth.
OK.
Keats.
Andrew Motion.
And Andrew Motion.
Wordsworth first.
Yeah.
Keats second.
Yeah.
Andrew Motion for third. Okay.
I think we're right.
Okay, we were looking for Poets Laureate. You had to find a pointless answer. You've given us 3 answers. There they are. Your first one, William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth. This, I need hardly remind you, for £9,500. You're not feeling confident.
No.
You're not looking confident.
No.
You should look confident.
Okay.
You said William Wordsworth. Let's see how many of our 100 people said William Wordsworth. Well, it's correct.
Oh, it's right. It's a start.
It's not bad. Look, down it comes.
Oh dear.
Okay.
No, we don't think we are.
Your next one was John Keats. This is your second of 3 shots at the jackpot. £9,500. This has to be a pointless answer for you to win that jackpot. You're saying John Keats. Let's see how many of our 100 people said John Keats. Oh! It was so obscure, it was wrong. Okay, this is your third and final chance. We were looking for Poets Laureate. It has to be a pointless answer. None of our 100 people should have got this for you to win that jackpot. How many of our 100 people said Andrew Motion? It's correct. £9,500 could be yours. Down it comes.
Unlucky, but well done. Well done.
Unfortunately, you didn't manage to find that all-important pointless answer, so you don't win today's jackpot of £9,500. Richard, Poets Laureate.
Yeah, well, there were 9 pointless answers you could have got. Let's take a look at all of them. Macefield would have got you the money. Robert Southey. Collie Sibber would also have won you the money. Well done if you've got any of these at home. Let's take a look at some more. Thomas Shadwell, Henry James Pye, Lawrence Eusden, Nahum Tate, Thomas Wharton, and William Whitehead. Well done if you've got any of those at home. They all would have won you the money.
Well, unfortunately, we do have to say goodbye to Annie and Stephanie. You've been fantastic contestants. Thank you both very much for playing. Oh, I'm sorry that I'm not saying goodbye to you and handing over a suitcase full of cash for you, but you do, as I say, get the coveted pointless trophy. Well done. You've been fantastic contestants.
Thank you.
Well, nobody has won our jackpot today, so it rolls over again, which means on our next show we will be playing for £10,500. So join us next time to see if someone can win it on Pointless. Meanwhile, it's goodbye from Richard.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.